Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another edition. Now, in today's story, we are going to talk about Kenneka Jenkins, that was found in the Chicago hotel in the
Found
freezer.
in the freezer. I know my sister told me about this story about a week ago.
It's just crazy. It's been circulating all over, like even
she was
YouTube.
Stuck on it because she was just like traumatized by her being found in the freezer. She just knew something is really fishy about this story.
Yeah.
She said someone probably murdered her. So, of course, I didn't realize it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
Turns out you look on social media and
it's filling pages, man.
Yeah, it's filling
pages. It's like, oh my goodness.
Everyone has a theory. Everyone's saying she was raped on camera, which I've watched this so-called video of this rape.
Yeah,
it's
so gappy. Anything. Well, first of all, the footage that they've released to the media is so gappy and inconclusive.
Help me in the background. You heard nothing of the sort. The song was a little, like screaming in the song.
Yeah.
And it sounded, you could misinterpret it as help me. But
a lot of the footage that I checked out, you can actually hear press going on in the background. So I'm not really sure. Yeah, like, the cops were answering questions. It was like
Did you hear cops?
Yeah.
I thought that might have been the radio.
No, I think that they were probably playing it and probably downloading it at the same time with audio.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, this girl was staggering around. But what leads me to believe that she was not drunk, as she was allegedly drunk, as what they claimed. You can tell. Because normally when you are drunk, you lose control of, walking straight anyway. You're dizzy to a certain degree to where your legs do not cooperate if you are so-called drunk.
Yeah.
Now, with her actually walking around, nonetheless, she was walking like a 1.5-year-old. It was, staggering. It was staggering, but she still
around like that. But
she was she bumped into the corner of the wall, which to me, she knows how close she is, but she didn't realize how close she was. You know how the mirror says you're closer than you may appear? And I think that whenever she was walking, there was a lot that she hit ahead of time that made it look like she didn't mean to do it. So she was half incoherent, nonetheless. And she stayed on her feet. I never saw her fall. She never lost her grip to the ground. But she also did not trail her hands along the walls to keep control. So with that being said, it's so inconclusive. Like I said, they're not giving you footage from the beginning to the end as promised that we had all the footage.
I guess there wasn't a camera directed directly at the freezer, or we would see that footage, I'm sure.
No, hold on just a moment. We have the mayor
and the workers
that
has
already
saying,
given a statement stating that he has actually eyewitnessed all of the footage in which she shows to be alone from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Also, he stated that he could back up that he witnessed that she only got in there by herself.
Yeah, the footage does show her walking by herself. So, people are saying there's footage missing, someone's walking in front of her, and it's like, there's not really... That doesn't hold to be true.
No. And also there were questions like, did someone meet her down there? Did someone call her? I never saw her have her phone.
Yeah,
not
I didn't
at
see
all.
No phone at all.
No.
The only thing that really proves to be off is her closing the freezer on, behind her. Where did that happen?
Well,
did she do that?
And the mayor also stated there was a button to release yourself out of the freezer. So it didn't lock, but it did have an electronic doorknob.
Really?
Okay. So with that being
said, she fall over in the
there's
freezer?
No doubt in my mind that if she got in there, you would notice those knobs are normally red.
And
if
you
work in
a
freezer
too, because there's these, flaps laying down.
Well, it depends on. No, she didn't go into a walk-in freezer. She went into a.
It was a walk-in freezer.
Secluded freezer with a door. It was a.
It's a walk-in freezer.
Right, but it didn't have like the grocery store flaps from like 1970. I didn't see. They didn't show. You saw the footage?
I saw that of the workers showing the
freezer.
The freezer. They were showing it off because they were trying to say, why was it closed behind her? They were suspicious on. How that happened.
Right.
That's where it doesn't.
I would have been too, because the footage that I saw showed her going in and out of doors, but it never showed any doors opening or closing. So these doors that she was going through the hallway, right where the stairwell is. Right. So, with that being said, and her parents too. They haven't been given every inch of footage from beginning to end, in which the police station stated that they did.
Or her cousin, her sister, a family member came out. They were pretty fumed up. Screaming into the reporters' cameras because there's such a suspicion of what happened. She was with so many friends that night. to where it really doesn't add up. Why was she by herself?
There was a party going on in this hotel.
No one believes that she was by herself,
right.
before she got in that freezer. It's like, there's no way. There was too many people there. The police even, said they suspected 12 people, everyone at that party
was
involved in the murder. You know what I mean? That's what
she was an absolutely gorgeous girl. No lie. She was very pretty. And look,
and that's why suspicion automatically went to rape.
Absolutely.
Obviously, people started saying she was raped when that wasn't even, that wasn't said anywhere. Yeah. It was just straight up a suspicion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, everybody has a right to their opinion, and if you want to dig more into whatever's going on with this story, everyone has the right to do so. Yeah. Everyone wants answers, and for God's sake, this
really
isn't the only story.
That
they do this
people like us, especially, are talking about it.
Yeah,
because we're just throwing our little suspicions out there.
We want answers too. It'd be nice to know. Hey, this could happen to anybody.
And just like I said, my sister has been keeping up with this story for a week straight.
Right.
And I just, it didn't really. I was like, oh, a girl accidentally got trapped in the freezer. Oh,
Right.
Things happen, and I didn't really look at it as such a big deal. But then all these rumors and suspicions come out, and it's
all the
trending everywhere, and it's like, whoa,
what's going on
wait a
here?
minute. Is this really bigger than it seems?
Yeah.
Was this not really an accident? But it's now the footage, really does tell me, as much as everyone says it's suspicious, to me it looks like she was really just incoherent.
Right.
And she locked herself in the freezer somehow.
Well, it'd be nice to see a freezer door. You see a corridor that goes from one kitchen to the next half of the kitchen.
It doesn't make sense that the police would hide her murder. You know what I mean? What would they gain by hiding her murder? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, if there's footage that needs to be hid. I mean, that's just it.
Unless it was like...
It's like this. If you can just show her walking into the freezer, can you get that angle? And that's it. And actually forward the time on your own footage. Because we know it takes a long time. But just to keep your, just to back up your story versus what you're telling everybody. I mean, we want to know what happened. Yeah. If that's the case, then fast forward it and you let us see the time scroll on your footage. It looks like until the cops or someone found her.
Not satisfied. No one is okay with this footage. They want to see that exact moment of her walking in that freezer. They want to see those doors closed. They want to know if anyone walked in there.
And if there was any fight for her to get out of there.
Yeah.
If she screamed. The footage I don't think has any audio. No. So, I mean, that would have helped tremendously. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's okay to have all eyes on you, but it's nice to get...
And the footage of her friends, in their little live session, it did seem like one of the girls was very incoherent. Not really incoherent. She was she was under the influence.
Right. She might. Heavily. I was gonna say usually when you experience
really relaxed,
something,
extremely relaxed.
Yeah.
So, and
when you go through something like this, you can only assume that somebody's gonna give you a sedative. Because you got to think about that one friend that was probably with her that just went.
Where did she think she was going? That's the real. Why didn't she stay at the party?
I have no idea, but the footage I saw showed her getting off an elevator on that floor.
From what I heard, the original story was she went off to go to another party.
In the same hotel?
Across the the way or something.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, alone.
That makes no sense.
And it was I didn't see that anywhere in this footage. She was walking through so many hallways. It was what? She obviously doesn't know where she's going.
And she walked for a while.
Yeah.
She walked for a while. She
was confused. She was just I'm just gonna keep walking until I find my way somewhere. And that obviously led her to the freezer.
Well, we obviously have lots of questions that are just unanswered, and the story just remains inconclusive until we have another press conference that actually, relieves
it all out
more
and says,
evidence.
The cops, I'm sure, will know if anyone did murder her. And the autopsy should show. They should test for everything, not just regular old.
Absolutely. I'm sure they're going to give her a 22 dot.
Because this
you got to find out what caused this.
Although it might be treated as an accident, but it should be treated as a homicide just in case.
Absolutely.
Check her autopsy to see if.
And no questions about it. Everyone that attended this party should be questioned.
And especially who served her alcohol. She was 19. Mm-hmm. That's illegal.
Well, it could have been just in your normal drink.
And then it resulted in a fatality.
Don't think you can't be drugged off a normal drink.
So then, this should result in a more of a punishment. There was multiple people involved in this.
Right.
Sorry, but usually in these cases, multiple people end up taking charges for this death.
That's right. That's
just the way it goes because you were all involved.
Or whoever's responsible for the party.
She was underage.
Right.
And y'all all just let her drink. And this resulted in her dying.
Yeah.
The exact thing what these laws are in place for to prevent.
Right.
So,
we'll see where it ends up. This is just the tip of the iceberg to where the actual, social media is putting their 2 cents in. Yeah. So the more questions that arise, the more that this is just my opinion. I'm thinking that Chicago owes us more answers, and that's just it. There needs to be more footage released, and without that footage of her, like you said, going into the freezer, everyone's going to be like barking at the top of their lungs. So that's just it.
Yeah.
So we want to hear what you guys have to say. If you could please leave any comments or suggestions in the comment section below, that would be great. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys in the next one.